of Two Queers and a Truck. And I'm Jenny-Jaymes and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in the Truck time, and we are rocking it out. And
woo!
And
that was like a ooh.
It didn't sound good. I don't know what it sounded like on the other end, but here we go, and we are January 22nd. It's Christian and Jenny. And here we go,
Here we go.
5, and I don't know if it's going by as fast as 2024, or maybe I should ask, maybe it's not going. I don't know if it's going by as fast for you as it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, my schedules are so much different than this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a blur. But we'll jump right into it because got just some hot goss, and we have I saw this video clip actually this morning, and it's just too delicious not to talk about it. Jasmine Crockett, House of Representative member from Texas, squares off with Nancy Mace. Nancy, I love transgender people, Mace.
Yeah.
But, and just calls it out. She says exactly what needs to be said about her obsession with trans people, and just flat out just words of beauty. Every Democrat, listen up, listen to what Jasmine said. And she absolutely nails it on a goddess level, and just says these people do this for campaign donations. When their mouth breathers can't send in enough money, they razz them up by making them feel threatened by different boogeyman. And our most recent boogeyman for Republicans is trans people, because we pose such a threat because we're 0.25% of the population. Now remember, when I said 0.25%, we're 1/4 of 1%, 1 out of 4, and a total of 1 out of 400 women. A whopping population of 1 out of 4. There's 399 cis women. One of us is trans. On the highest side, on the highest genetic side. And these whack jobs make us sound like we're taking over the country when we probably couldn't take over Charlotte. But they lose their minds. They throw this political red meat to their wacko followers because they're morons and they don't think about what is said, because they're little idiots. They run around like little idiots, and they blurt out stuff because they're like little chatty Cathy dolls. They go, trans people, China, TikTok, and they lose it over the stupidest things, because they know that their followers, the people that vote for them, the people that donate to them, are stupider than them. Nancy Mace is an idiot. Does not deserve to be called Congresswoman. I'm not going to call her Congresswoman because she's an idiot. She doesn't belong in Congress. That kind of dialogue does not belong in Congress. And her response was, she was telling Congressman Crockett, I want to step outside. She's like ripping off her mic and all this performance stuff. First of all, Congressman Crockett will clean your clock. Okay. I'm putting my money on Congressman Crockett. That's number one. If I'm going to put money on it, I'm 99. But I think Congressman Crockett has too much class, and she's smart enough to know she's not going to do it. But she baited her into being stupider. She proved her point because the guilty screamed the loudest. She lost it because she knew, and she baited Nancy Mace into responding. And this is exactly what we need to do. Democrats need to show them in their light. They're a bunch of morons. And when they get called out on their moronic stuff, they're going to respond that way. And when they respond that way, frame them, record them, and show them in the proper light. If BTC highlighted it, yesterday on Instagram, and I happened to scroll through and see the magic. And this is the reason why Congresswoman Crockett is a flippin' genius. She knows how to handle Republicans, unlike a lot of Democrats. And whatever she's getting paid, double it. The Democrat Party should match it and say, girl, you need to run our dialogue. You need to run our talking points of our party. Somebody like that, give her leadership, give her a voice. Teach other Democrats how to win. Teach other Democrats how to talk. Because if you want to know how you should talk, it's a clinic. And she very casually, with a smile, destroyed Nancy Mace and made her. No, Nancy Mace is an idiot, is a little idiot. She just brought out the best idiot in her, and just framed it the right way. And now Nancy Mace forever is going to be known. Congressman Crockett owns Nancy Mace. She just lives in her head rent free and laughs about it. And I love it. I love it. We got to own these idiots, because it brings me to the second subject. You got Steve Bannon going after
Elon Musk.
after Sissy SpaceX, aka Elon Musk. And Musk, of course, is going to go, responds with an immature response, because he's also a mouth breather. He's not a genius like people claim he is. He's a moron. He's a moron cut from the same cloth as Trump. He's an egotistical trust fund baby who's invented nothing and rode the coattails of his daddy's money. And yeah, I would look like a financial genius too if I started out life with hundreds of millions of dollars. Holy crap. I could invest it in most basic investment vehicles, and I would be, if I started in my 20s with the kind of money they did, I would be a multi-billionaire too, just on basic investment skills. And Trump couldn't even do that. That dude, he could mess up anything. He can mess up the most simplest of functions, because he'll mess up the most simplest of functions. And that's just who he is. That's just who he is. And when we strive to move the benchmark along, we have to put them in these positions. We have to, and the thing with one thing we have to think about is how Republicans will implode, just like they did in 2017, just like they did in 2018 when they got nothing done. They kept no campaign promises. The only thing that Trump could keep was executive orders. Of course, he got the Congress to go along with passing a tax cut, because that was an easy thing, because all the Republicans in Congress are millionaires pretty much, and all their buddies and all their contributors are millionaires. So they had to pass that. They were going to pass that, and enough Democrats were going to go along with it. But After that, they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing for 4 years. They were so ineffective and so inept because Trump only is going to work. Dumpster's only going to work part time, but because he's lazy and incompetent, and you're only going to go at the speed of leader, which means disappearing JD Vance. Where is JD Vance, by the way? I'm still going to say it. Do we need to put him on a milk carton? I mean, where did JD Vance disappear to? Where's Waldo? Oh my gosh. Boy, Trump won. JD Vance disappeared. He stepped off. I don't know where he went. Yeah, he was front and center the whole time, and now he's just gone. It's just like he was like a ninja. He just threw down a smoke ball and disappeared. Just like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go. There's sofa factories. I gotta go. I gotta go climb. Like he had to go climb Sofa Mountain and get zen with the sofa. I don't know. He disappeared out of this planet. I don't know if aliens abducted him and probed him and he liked it and stayed, or what happened. But JD Vance is nowhere to be seen. I haven't seen a clip of him. I mean, if you have seen Sofa Loren, aka JD Vance, let us know.
Put him on a milk cart.
Yeah, milk carton, a flyer. I don't want to make it light of that, but my gosh, where'd the dude go? Like overnight, and he haven't been seen for months. I was talking about this the other day. I was like, he's seen JD disappear, just poof. Ninja, please, you're gone. And just it's wild. And but Bannon, said, from day one, Musk is not going to serve in the cabinet. I'm going to fight it tooth and nail, which I don't know. Bannon is good about a couple things. If you need, some money raised and for the wrong cause and you need to disappear, Bannon's your guy. Where is the Build the Wall fund gone to anyway? The one from 4 years ago when they raised billions of dollars with Trump's lemmings and supporters. Where did that money go? And why isn't Bannon in prison for life? If we stole $5 billion from people, that'd be, of course, if I stole $5 billion, I would never be in the United States again. I would steal $5 million. I ain't in this country again. I'm gone, but no, I'm gonna go to a country with no extradition treaty and tropical drinks, and I'm Audi 5000. But this dude disappeared with billions of dollars of donor money for the Build a Wall fund. That was an absolute scam. And by the way, did Mexico pay for the wall last time? Inquiring minds want to know. They didn't. Note to self. Geniuses, the Republicans aren't. But we're up against our first break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck right after this. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in a Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching the Two Queers in the Truck Show 2025 edition. We have a new special show that is coming on as part of the Canis Media family of shows, and it's the Tony Foreman Show. And they're going to talk about a little bit different things than we typically talk about on the coffee show or the queer show that we often reference. And it's going to be a little bit more of a serious show, a little bit more of talking about very specific issues amongst Latin, Latino men and Hispanic men. Tony Foreman is the Afro-Latino. And then I'm assuming that Christian's going to be on the show as well, which is a Latino male, a Tejano. And they're going to talk about things that are probably important to their generations, to what's going on in pop culture and where they fit in the world. And I guess that's always the existential question: why am I here? But anyway, if you want to know why you're here, and you whether you fit in that demographic or not, it should be interesting. I know Tony and Christian will keep it light and funny, and probably a little bit of silliness in there too, to boot. I'm looking forward to listening to it myself and not having to actually produce a show all the time. But please tune in at 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings when that show drops, and enjoy more shows from the Canis Media family in 2025. Thank y'all. And we are back. It's wild to think about. The last 4 years that he had, the only thing is he ran up a Secret Service bill in his sleazy golf motels. Huh. What, a couple $100 million? That was Trump's biggest accomplishment, was how many rounds of golf he played in his first administration. And you know this ain't going to change. When he ran his companies and did his show, he did probably the minimum amount of work he could do. And this is why I'm not too fearful, because I know he's lazy. I know he's incompetent. I know the people around him are incompetent. I know that they can't buy Greenland. They can't force Denmark to sell Greenland. We're not going to annex Canada. In the Panama Canal? I'm like, what do we need to buy the Panama Canal for? We can already use it. Why would we buy it a second time? We built it the first time, but why do we need to buy it? Why do we need to own it? It's just trouble down there. We'll go down there and we'll handle it, but there's not an issue. The last thing we need to do is go in and buy it, because then we got to take care of it. But whatever the current owners is, I think China owns it or some crap like that. Let them take care of it. Otherwise, we got to do the maintenance on it.
Yeah. What about America first?
Yeah, America first, and we're worried. America first, but worried about talking about buying Greenland and forcing Denmark to sell, and buying Canada, which is two just flat tops of ice.
Why don't we buy Mississippi and give them teeth?
Yeah. I mean, we need to sell off Mississippi and Texas. I'm half tempted to say, why don't we sell Texas to Mexico? Sell it back. Say, hey, we've kept this for about 150, 200 years.
California to Canada.
She's a fixer-upper, and we'll sell Texas, and we'll throw into Mexico just for the land of enchantment, just for giggles. We got guns, we got knives that look like guns. Sunday, what a deal we have. We have Texas, 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 and New Mexico. I'll buy one, get one, a BOGO, and sell it to Mexico, or whoever wants to be the highest bidder. Why not? But the last thing who or what do we want Greenland for? What exactly do we want Greenland for? Do we plan on melting all the icebergs off it? Nobody lives there now, for the most part. Oh boy, what does he want to put, a sleazy golf motel on Greenland? A pitch and putt on ice? Maybe Sissy SpaceX wants to put a Tesla dealership on there. I don't know. Maybe the cars won't catch fire on Greenland. I don't know. Canada, it doesn't want to merge with us. It doesn't want to be our 51st state. Canada will probably buy California, Oregon, and Washington, and some of the Great Lakes states in the Northeast states, like the New England states, because they align more with Canada's values. But Canada for sure doesn't want to merge under the United States flag. Their politics and our politics are way different in so many ways, which is wild. I don't understand it. And we can talk about optics of all this, but it's kind of cray. It's kind of cray. But the last thing we need to do, we can't even run our own country. I mean, just think about it. Before we start adding more territory, what are we going to add more territory for? Again, I'm thinking about the maintenance. I'm thinking about the value. There's no value to Greenland. It already belongs to somebody else, which has never stopped us before. We like taking things that don't belong to us. But what's the value of Greenland? We fought 20 years with a war because of the 9/11, and actually there was no reason why we did that. The last thing we need to do is get into any kind of war of any kind with a NATO ally when NATO needs togetherness and cohesiveness the most with Russia and the Ukraine situation. The last thing we need to do is be taking on territory and becoming a threatening country. Like, we don't need to escalate the tension in the world. And I think it's so bizarre that the guy, in the next segment, we're going to talk about something that he promised during the 2024 campaign. And I'm kind of curious what your take is. But it's kind of bizarre that this promise has just disappeared. That we haven't heard a peep about this promise as I tee it up, and I tease it in the last 11 seconds of this third segment. But I think it's bizarro world that nobody's even called this out, which is a shame on the reporters. But there's a very strong point, and it was one of the strongest campaign promises. He's got less than a week to end the war in Ukraine.
Yep.
Day one, the war was going to be over. And according to the reports, it's speeding up, not slowing down. Russian casualties are at an all-time high. They're getting their ass kicked. They've lost so many people. Ukraine's stepping it up with some homegrown weapons of their own. Their technology is finally doing a turnaround. They've gotten the manufacturing on lock. They're hitting Russia harder than they've ever hit them, deeper than they've ever hit them. And Russian citizens are starting to notice, hey, that rocket was awfully close. What's going on? I thought we were winning, according to the state-owned press. Everybody knows it's not. Even in Russia, they know this isn't true. Everybody's been affected in Russia because everybody's lost somebody. When those Korean soldiers got slaughtered, they didn't affect this at all. They got blown out. A lot of them defected over to the Ukraine too. Pretty easy to do. Hey, do you really want to go back? This isn't a win-win. Why don't you come on over? But even better, why aren't we talking about this? Why aren't Democrats calling this out and saying, where's the peace deal, dude? You said you had this on lock. You said you had this in the bag. Why aren't you and Putin talking about this and talking about peace? You're only a few days away. You should have a deal by now. You should be able to have something in negotiation, and you know he hasn't. You know he's going to be like the kid that didn't do his homework. In the morning, and like, oh, my dog ate it.
What had happened was
I spilled some, secret sauce from McDonald's from a Big Mac onto my homework, and then my dog ate it. Because we all know Dumpster has no peace deal. And on inauguration day, when he doesn't have the peace deal, we need to have a commercial teed up for every network out there, radio, podcast, TV, whatever. And we need to play it about 10 or 20,000 times a day for the first week he's in office. and like show a piece of paper just ripping in two and go, look, campaign promise number one, no peace in the Ukraine. And just hammer that and show him to be the liar that he is. He had no intentions of brokering peace. He doesn't give a shit about peace in Europe. He's going to go about his merry way and play golf. Trump dropped more bombs on foreign countries than Obama did. Proven fact, based on tonnage. Trump may not have started any war, but he sure as heck kept a lot going. He didn't stop any fires. He didn't do anything. He's not a peacemaker. He probably can't even speak peacemaker. The dude is a monosyllabic idiot of the nth kind. He is a little idiot, along with all those Republican little idiots. They're all little idiots. They have no chance in hell of brokering peace. Putin doesn't want peace. It's going to have to be an internal call from the House. He's finally going to, Putin will have to face ouster or peace from the inside. His people are going to have to step up and say, look, dude, it's time. We're tired of losing our sons and our brothers. This is not fun. They've lost hundreds of thousands of soldiers. They have had their economy turned upside down. There's absolutely no reason for them to be in a war with anybody. They can't afford it. With an already challenging global economy in a post-COVID world, the last thing you need to do is be spending money on war and losing your citizens. Because in war, there's no guarantees. And Russia is not a war genius. They are not like us. Had we done this, we would have taken Ukraine in a couple months. Russia, 3 years, 2 years, however long this has been going on. I think it's been 3 years. It's all been going on almost as long as World War II. With an absolute stalemate. I mean, they haven't moved. They take some territory, they lose it. They lose it. They've lost some of the territory they took in 2014. They gain it back. They've gotten a bunch of naval ships sunk to the point to where they've pulled their fleet out of the Black Sea. Ukraine, by the way, doesn't have a navy. They've used remote control water drones to sink Russian ships because it's easy to do. It's easy to fight the Russians. But we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck. Hey y'all, thanks for listening to Two Queers in a Truck. And we do broadcast on YouTube and Facebook in a video version. And we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners, and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. Hey, everyone. Hey, thanks for listening for Two Queers in a Truck. And got an exciting new show coming on this year for our Canis Media listeners, which is basically the Coffee and the Two Queers show, including the one you're listening right now. We have a new one called Esperaz K. And it's with our exciting young host that we've had as a guest host in the previous years, named Urente. And he's really going to talk about the focus on young Latino and Hispanic community issues and challenges that come with being young and being Hispanic in America. And honestly, there's a lot of interesting topics. And of course, he has a perspective of a Gen Z person, which is way different than Christian and I. We're on the opposite end of life. But it's fun. It's fascinating. I know he's always been a great guest. I look forward to listening to his shows in 2025, as should you. I think it's going to be a special treat. It's like the Guns and Knives shows. We have guns and we have So anyway, listen to our family shows. We start dropping on Wednesdays at about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And we keep on dropping the shows until they're all dropped like Easter eggs.
Drop.
It is weird though that the Easter Bunny doesn't lay eggs. But anyway, hope y'all check out Urence's new show, as many of our other great new shows in 2025, plus our old standbys. And we'll rock out 2025. Thanks for listening as always.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo. Right after this. And we are back. But the whole point of this exercise is to point out the pure idiocy and the lies of these insane promises, these nonsensical, unattainable processes that Mr. Dumpster promised. And they're just losing their minds. On another note, Representative Becca Balint calls Republicans mean motherfuckers for their campaign against trans kids. She called out the GOP's completely orchestrated anti-trans campaign and explained the fight against loneliness and discussed meeting her wife. But U.S. Representative Becca Balint, Democrat from Vermont, was nicknamed the Admiral by her women's career team for her formidable skills of motivating rowers at just 5 feet tall and south of 100 pounds. She may not look the part, but she declined first impressions. In her sophomore election last November for a large seat in her state house election, in her state for the House of Representatives election, Balint demolished Republican opponent by more than 30 points. She did the same in her first run in 2022. But she's been calling out Chucklefuck, MTG, and saying every child deserves health care that's appropriate for them. And she said, I've just had enough. And she has lit them up and really set them on their ears and has explained about pronouns and said, you know, hey, it's something. The language learns a long time to take hold in culture. And so what I think Republicans are missing, as well as actually most Americans, we are really trying hard to figure out how to be allies, how to be strong supporters of everyone in their community. And of course, Republicans like to mock the whole concept of pronouns. But really, it comes down to people wanting to be seen for who they are, the totality of who they are. We don't need acknowledgement from Republicans. We need them to leave us the fuck alone. We need them to get their dirty little dick beaters off our throats. And in 2025, we'll make them. We'll come for them. A storm is coming for the Republicans. And if they keep coming for my people, I will come for them. And many of us will. We will end this now. And there will be allies out there. They will see us. They will hear us. We will not go quietly in the night. We will own them. They will feel our pain. Every time they take one of us out, we'll take 5 of them out. However you want to hear that. We're done. We're done with being mocked for who we are. We're done for being called pedophiles. We're done for our health care being taken away and threatened. No other demographic in America fights this except for maybe people of color and people, new arrivals. But it has to stop here. It will stop here. We will bring them to their knees. And not in a good way. And this is not what she said, but she said basically the same thing. She's going, there's no reason for, any reason for cruelty. There's a humans we're hardwired for connection. The last thing we need to do is disconnect people, divide. We don't need a divider-in-chief. We don't need an entire political party trying to divide America when we need each other the most. We reach for each other in times of crisis. We should lead with love. And if Democrats can't do it, somebody else will. You step up or step off. And that's what we should be saying. That's what we should be doing. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. We shouldn't be afraid of these morons. These people are on the shit stains of the pages of history. They're embarrassing me. The world mocks Republicans because they look at them and go, my gosh, how do you live with this? And the answer is, we don't. We don't sit by and go, oh, this is funny. Ha ha ha. You're an idiot. You're a motherfucker. You're a brutal bully. Bullitt also introduced a bill called Combating Loneliness Act, which is aimed at reducing social isolation in the United States and addresses 3 critical areas: social infrastructure, community health care, and supporting mental health in schools. Humans are hardwired for connection. And when you violate that trust by insulting people, isolating people, ripping them out of their homes and sending them back to a dangerous condition, like our new arrivals, our most valued citizens that keep our country fed and running and build our homes. You can't have a home building crew and a roofing crew without new arrivals. How many white kids want to climb up on a roof and sling shingles? Show me one. I haven't seen a 16-year-old white kid sling shingles in decades.
Haven't seen one cut the grass.
Yeah. Let's be real. Let's keep it real. Immigrants do the jobs and the new arrivals do the jobs we don't want to do. They're the engine and the fuel that drives our engine of our economy. They come here without speaking the language, don't have a dime in their pocket, scared, afraid and alone. We should be applauding them and say, welcome. Welcome. We should not be afraid of someone because of their skin tone's a little browner than ours. They speak a native tongue that we don't understand. That's our fault for not reaching out and saying, let's learn Spanish. Let's figure out a way. We find a way as a people. We always have. Until now. We rolled up our sleeves so many times in history, in recent history, in the last 100 years, and said, we won't do that. We won't turn against each other. Reagan used to refer to Washington, D.C. as the shining city on the hill. And he was right. We're the beacon of democracy, and now we're the laughingstock of the world. Because we're obsessed with people and where they go to the bathroom and where they started in life, struggling. It's the most un-American thing I've ever heard. It's the least patriotic thing you can do, to punch down the people that have nothing. It's also just fucking boring. Change the record. I don't feel threatened about anybody that crosses the southern border or the northern border. I don't care. Immigration is normal. Texas would not have an economy. California would not have an economy. Arizona would not have an economy. New Mexico would not have an economy without migration. Who do you think works in the fields of Texas? Drive through West Texas sometime and show me a white person working in the cotton fields. Drive through the Rio Grande Valley and all the little beautiful citrus groves along the coast and show me a white person picking oranges, keeping the trees alive, watering them, curating them. Who do you think picks our food? Who do you think cleans our streets? Who do you think works in the most gruesome processing plants like Tyson? Who do you think, when you go to Harris Teeter or any supermarket of your choosing, when you see the little cellophane chicken in the little packages, who do you think provided you that? White people? Kids put it on their Nintendo Switch? So off to the chicken plant, after school job. Oh boy. Going to the 8th grade. And right after that, I'm working in a chicken plant, scooping chicken shit and feeding chickens. Come on. I know my 3 kids didn't do that. I don't know any of your nieces and nephews working in the chicken plant, Christian.
Nope.
No, but fuck no. You know why? Because y'all been Americans since 1784. Most of your family's college educated, by the way. Mom not.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Whole family of Tejanos. 200 years deep in this country, plus. Oh, you mean there was Tejanos here before America? Yeah. Yeah. There was Tejanos here in like the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how old San Antonio and Santa Fe, New Mexico are. The original territory of Tejas in northern New Spain. Speaking Spanish and setting up Spanish missions and looking for gold. More successful than their white counterparts on the East Coast, by the way. Look up where Coronado and all of them went. Years. Established a whole new world way before the British did. Way before the forerunner of Canada in the United States. Way before the French. That's right, chicken butt. That's reality. Christopher Columbus set sail in the ocean blue in 1492. 100 years before the British. And he flew the flag of Spain. Espanol. To be American is to be Spanish. To be American is to speak Spanish. More Spanish-speaking countries in North and South America than speak English. Hola, motherfuckers. Hola. Learn to speak the language of commerce in the Americas. It's Spanish. You stupid chuckle fuck sloppy motherfuckers. And Steve Bannon, take a bath and shave your fat face. Anyway, we are done for the week, and I'm fired up. Republicans learn how to spell and learn how to use pronouns. The pronouns are in the Bible too. Jesus referred to themselves as they all the time. And his long pretty hair. At least the Mormon and European Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Mormon Jesus on the cover of their Bible, walking through the Americans white as he can be. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There was no white people there at that time.
Yeah. There was no sun, apparently.
Yeah. The sun took the time off. You know, the sun gods of the Aztecs, the Mayans, struck the sun off just for him. As he cruised through the Americans. Anyway, that's all I got. Got nothing left for you. We're going to dance on out. We'll see you next week. Y'all have a great week. Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for listening to Two Queers in a Truck with Christian and Jenny. And as always, enjoy 2025. Survive the winter. This is my least favorite season. and we'll see you next week. Bye, Boo. Have a great week.
Bye, Boo. Bye, y'all.